welcome to Otaku no Video for December 12th, 2009. Thanks for joining me. Coming up in a bit, a rant about Moe. Just stick around. First, some news. Hetalia Axis Powers fans, you may rejoice. In addition to the recently announced movie, there will officially be a third season. I can hear you screaming. You can stop the screaming. Thank you. Third season of Hetalia. You can stop the screaming. And it'll be broadcast exactly like the first two seasons were, so it should be unchanged. More Hetalia. Yes, it's good. Calm. Relaxed. Bakuman fans, you can rejoice as well. Except there's not any of you out there yet, except those who read scanlations of manga. And you're cool too. But anyway, Bakuman is a Shonen Jump title about two boys who are striving to become mangaka. I actually haven't read much of it yet, or any of it yet, but that's what they say. And quite popular over in Shonen Jump land, and so to absolutely no one's surprise, an anime adaptation has officially been announced, set for 25 episodes, all the way through. I am worried that they're going to get past the manga. Whatever. It'll be animated by JC Staff, and they've done dozens of stuff already. The TV, Slayers, Nodam Cantabile, bunch of other things. Literally dozens of stuff. So looks like a good mix. Anime News Network has more information on the basic cast and crew, director, writer, that kind of thing. In much more serious news, Keiji Nakazawa, who drew Barefoot Gen, he's donating 30 boxes of Barefoot Gen drawings to the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum. And Barefoot Gen is the story it's autobiographical, so it's sort of about him and what he went through when he was living in Hiroshima when the bomb was dropped on it. Yeah, not exactly a light story. He says he hopes his drawings will be shown around the world to promote peace and nuclear non-proliferation. I can understand why. Speaking of apocalypses, there's a guy named Jun Awazu over in Japan. He's a CG animator and director, and he's making this sort of apocalyptic mecha science fiction, lots of black film called Planzet. And there's now a trailer over on planzet.jp. Click the middle button. The CG and art, do look pretty darn stunning. It does look gorgeous, very stylish. Although the human character designs are kind of de-emphasized in the trailer, and they look kind of like what we're used to expecting from attempts at CG, we'll see. But good on you for making that, and here's hoping that it turns out to be a really, really excellent film. We could use more anime films, frankly. Alright, now I'm going to talk a bit here about Moe. For those of you who don't know, Moe is a recent term that's evolved to talk about kind of bishoujo characters, pretty girl characters, but particularly a certain kind of pretty girl character. One who is kind of passive and kind of easygoing in a way, and he's kind of the ultimate girlfriend type in certain senses. And it is kind of an evolving definition, so it's kind of hard to nail down. But there was a recent question sent into an Anime News Network column, and I didn't read the actual answer because I found the question so interesting, and I wanted to think about that without really sullying myself with the answer. The question was basically, why do American fans complain that Moe is killing anime? Because there's so much Moe anime out there, K-On! As an example, and Haruhi and so forth. Why do they say that Moe is killing anime when Moe is what sells in Japan? I really liked this question because that's very, very true. Moe is what's popular. Moe is what sells. Moe is how the studios are staying in business because this is what the Japanese fans are asking for. Now, you can ask whether that's a good or a bad thing, but I want to go a little bit further on this and say that anime's been through a number of different fads over time. In the 80s, mecha was huge, and it threatened to completely overwhelm anime. And folks were saying that mecha was killing the anime industry because everything was mecha. And so you got a lot of just really cheap, cheesy mecha shows that tried to be deep but weren't. and that were just really empty and retreads and rehashes. Evangelion actually was partly a response to that, of saying, let's make something that's really flashy and high budget, and it goes off in a different direction with mecha. Because mecha's awesome. Moe is just one of these trends in anime right now, and it happens to be at the peak of its popularity right now. And I want to say that's okay. Everything goes through cycles. I mean, look at American television right now. I would say American television, especially like in terms of dramas and such, is at a pretty high point in a lot of senses. And it's dominated by cop shows and by legal procedurals, basically. Law and Order and CSI and NCIS and all these shows are like that. And that is the current trend. Because within that, writers have found ways of telling interesting stories and of being fun and entertaining and so forth. Moe is currently how anime tells its stories, or a lot of its stories. I mean, obviously there's lots of non-Moe stuff out there. And I want to submit that that's reality. That's what the Japanese fandom wants. We are an ancillary market, let's not forget, us American fans. And we're going to have to weather this. If you don't like Moe, I don't mind Moe. If you don't like Moe, okay, you can have that opinion, that's fine. But recognize that that's just not where the industry is right now. It's like not liking mecha and being into anime in the 80s. You're just, unfortunately, you're in an industry at that point where the industry doesn't match up with your likes and dislikes. And that's just how it's going to have to be. And I want to push folks to say, if that's true, now is your time to seek out the non-obvious Moe stuff. The stuff you want is going to be inexpensive. It's going to be more of a hunt. It's going to be more of something to track down, and it's a way of showing your individuality. If you want to be your own person, if you want to strike out and be original, here's a way of showing it. And that doesn't mean that you have to say, oh, Moe sucks, and I'm going to avoid Moe. Just say, hey, these are my tastes. I'm going to go after this. I'm going to build up this collection of other stuff. And again, you now have that opportunity to track down this stuff that is now less popular and is thus potentially less expensive, really. Folks complain about Kannagi because it came out in this kind of premium way, and you don't have to deal with that. So Moe is just what the industry's like right now. Okay.